See, nobody fights anymore. They dance. There's no. I'm an old guy, right? I'm 80 years old. In the '86 season, anytime a guy hit one of our guys, it was a fight. Anytime Darryl Strawberry was hit, there was a fight. Anytime George Foster was hit, there was a fight. The best fight I ever saw, we were in Cincinnati, and Eric Davis slid into Ray Knight at third base, and when Eric got up, Ray just popped him. And it was like 18 guys were ejected. You know, Jesse Roscoe and Roger McDowell want to play in the outfield, but nobody fights. Mike Tyson loved the '86 team because we got to so many fights. He would come and visit us at the park. There was something about that '86 team that we were hated by all the teams in the league, and it was just a feistiness that we loved and it drew us more together.
Famous picture, Tyson, Darryl, and Doc.
Tyson, yeah, I orchestrated that. Darryl and Doc had their gloves on, and Mike was the referee. So that was a picture when we around the world. This was before Mike became a champion.
What was it like having Mike Tyson at Shea Stadium?
I stayed away from him, you know. But
all right, guys. Hey, welcome. Thanks for coming out to PC Richard & Son today here in Astoria, Queens. This is Meet at the Apple Live, presented by PC Richard & Son. I'm Vito Calise. That's Jonathan Baron, and today our guest is the legendary Mets Hall of Famer, Jay Horwitz.
My pleasure to be here, Vito. Thank you. Thank you.
So, Jay, we're going into the thick of the season right now, a big playoff race, and we thought nobody better to talk to than you because you've been here for some exciting Septembers.
Right. Really, I'm trying to think of the last September. Well, you know what? The years we in '69, people weren't born out of here. We won at the end. But really, in '86, we were ahead by 22 games going into September. We had some exciting games with the Phillies. We can talk about a couple of the Philly games.
Yeah.
Probably my best memory of the Phillies is in August of 2015. David Wright had just been out for a couple of months with his back, neck, and all sorts of injuries. I said, Terry, you don't have to play me. You guys have been going great. I'll sit, bat me fourth. And Terry said, you're batting fourth. So it leads up to second inning. It's like a 500-foot bomb to left field. I almost cried when it was a tremendous. You guys remember that one?
Oh yeah, course. I think everyone here does, right?
Yeah.
Mets on their way to the pennant. What about back in the day? I know the Mets and Phillies did a little brawling. You don't really see brawls anymore. We saw a union meeting against the Marlins last Sunday, but a couple good brawls between the two teams.
What time?
Right?
Correct me the facts is when Craig Jefferies was on the Mets.
Kevin McReynolds on the Phillies.
Yeah, and I think Roger McDowell hit somebody when Roger was pitching in the Phillies. Am I right?
Yeah, I saw the replay recently where it was a ground ball to first base and Jefferies ran it out, and someone said something to somebody.
Yeah.
Jefferies went to the mound, and then chaos ensued.
See, nobody fights anymore. They dance. There's no. I'm an old guy, right? I'm 80 years old. So,
80 years young. 80 years young.
So in the '86 season, anytime a guy hit one of our guys, it was a fight. Anytime Darryl Strawberry was hit, there was a fight. Anytime George Foster was hit, there was a fight. The best fight I ever saw, we were in Cincinnati, and Eric Davis slid into Ray Knight at third base, and when Eric got up, Ray just popped him. And it was like 18 guys were ejected. You know, Jesse Roscoe and Roger McDowell want to play in the outfield, but nobody fights. I can't remember the last big fight we had, guys.
Probably.
What do you guys? We've never had a big fight at Citi Field, by the way. There's never actually been a punch thrown in the history of Citi Field. It is a fact. You could look it up. We've had bullpens empty. Yeah. We've had benches empty. Never a fight. What do you guys think? I mean, I know Pete Alonso made the comment that he enjoys fighting in hockey. And Pete's a big hockey guy, huge hockey fan, and he wants it in baseball. What do you guys think? You want to see a little edginess in baseball, or do you like it the way it is? A lot of fraternizing these days in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, especially at the '86
I see some nodding.
The people hated the '86 team because you never backed away from anybody. I mean, that's. Yeah, I remember. So again, to go back in years, Game 6 of the World Series, we had won 114 games. And we were losing by 2 runs with 2 strikes. I'm trying to figure out how the hell am I going to alibi to the media why we didn't win. And the rest of the league was just pulling for us to lose. But, you know, we had the Mookie rally and the Gary Carter hit, and we came back and won. Those are some of my good memories.
Now, Jay, you've got a couple of good friends, some old friends coming back this weekend, this Saturday, the Alumni game. Anyone going to be there this Saturday? It's going to be a great day in Queens. Some of our favorites, Team Shea.
Team Shea, it came Citi Field. Mike Piazza going to come back. Delgado, Beltran, Todd Zeal, Andy Chavez, Benny Agbayani, Terry Collins and Jerry Manuel are managing the show with the City team, and Bobby Valentine and Willie Randolph are managing the Shea team. And one of my favorite memories, we didn't win. Well, you guys remember the Andy Chavez catch in 2006? I mean, after it was Game 7 against the Cardinals, and if we had won that game, that would go down with the greatest plays in postseason history. But unfortunately, we lost, and we have a little plaque out in left field, isn't it, guys? There's a plaque in left field.
Is there?
We're outside in Citi Field. There's a plaque.
For the Andy Chavez catch?
For the catch, yeah.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, there is.
Where is it?
I think it's right outside the gate, left field gate in Citi Field.
Oh. Has anybody seen it?
Trust me,
Let's publicize this. Somebody make a TikTok about that.
But you guys should come out. Should be there. Under the Cone's ownership, we try to keep the alumni alive, the past alive, and they've been very gracious to let me bring back stuff. We did the David Wright retirement thing. So we're going to have like 44 players from the past come back and play a 3-inning game. A lot of these guys are taking it seriously, like Jose Reyes. He's out taking batting practice. His young daughter's never seen him play. Mike Piazza's taking batting practice, too. Mike doesn't think he's getting any home runs, but these guys don't want to be embarrassed on the field. So I think we got to come out. I'm sure it's a good show.
Do you think there's going to be – this is like different than the Old Timers Day game we did a few years ago because these guys played a lot more recently.
Right.
And I feel like this is going to be a lot more competitive of a game.
So Terry Collins and Bobby Valentine have a stake dinner bet. I think Bobby's getting 4 runs because he's got the older guys. Terry's got the guys, the Harveys, the Colognes, who played recently. Curtis Grandes is one of my favorite guys. Curtis Grandes is coming back. So, unfortunately, the 2000 team is a little bit older. The City team, a lot younger, played more recently, but it should be a lot of fun. And the guys are taking it seriously, I can tell you that.
So you're telling me they set a line for this game?
Yes.
Team Shea +4.
3.5 runs.
3.5. Okay, there's a hook.
3.5 runs. But
Very good.
It should be
I don't know
fun.
who's taking that action, but we probably shouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah, well, whatever.
You said it first. Hey, who are you most excited to see come back?
You know who I'm most excited to see.
Why don't you tell the audience here?
I'm probably – and I asked Jay if he thinks that I am the most excited to meet this person, but I am so excited to meet Mike Pelfrey. I've said this on the podcast before. I have a custom jersey that doesn't say Pelfrey on the back. It says Big Pelf on the back. Yeah. That I got in 2008.
You know what Mike clamped to fame? Every time he used to pitch, he's going, look at his hand.
Yeah, TMJ.
Yeah.
He had the jaw condition.
Yes.
I don't know who mine is. There's a lot of great names. It's always exciting seeing Jose Reyes back on the diamond. Yeah. And good intel that he's been taking some BP.
Yeah.
And also very nice, the little nugget that his daughter never saw him play.
Yeah.
So that'll be the first time. The anniversary of him hitting the inside the park home run against the Dodgers just passed a few days ago. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. I do. One of my favorite Philly memories is
3 homers.
No, is a Asdrúbal Cabrera bat flip in Citi Field. I've never seen a bat go that high.
Against the Dubre Ramos was the reliever. He didn't like that.
No, he didn't like that at all.
He was pretty miffed by that.
Yeah.
So Jay, like from a PR perspective, 07, 08, 06, those years, how intense was the Mets-Phillies rivalry when it goes to in the clubhouse?
We hated each other. It started with Jimmy Rollins and David Wright. I think Jimmy Rollins first said we're the team to beat. David Wright said, no, we're the team to beat. Then unfortunately, in 07, I don't want to jinx anything, we were ahead by 7 games to 17 to go, and we lost. That was John Main's year, right? That was 07.
John Main was 07. Yeah.
Yeah. John Main, another guy's going to come back. He pitched probably one of the greatest pressure games, struck out 13, no-hitter, 7 2/3. And the next day, my friend, good buddy, Tom Glavine, gave him 7 runs in the first inning against the Marlins.
And you know what? To bring it all full circle to a fight, do you remember Jose Reyes got into a tiff
with the third base coach?
And it felt like it fired the Marlins up even more for Game 162.
I hate the Marlins too, by the way. We shouldn't hate, but I do hate the Marlins. But
I hate the Marlins too. I've said before, for me, I think I go, as crazy as it sounds, I think I go Phillies number 1, and I think I go Marlins number 2, just because of 07. 08.
The Yankees?
08, leaving Shea Stadium as a kid and realizing I was never going to go back to that ballpark, watching the Marlins be happy that they won is one of the worst memories of my life.
That That was we hate it. It was just a rivalry between, in that ballpark, assistant bank. I mean, Ryan Howard would like pluck a ball and wind up at left field stands for a home run. I mean, it's like right field at Yankee Stadium. But I think in the David Wright game, I think we wound up hitting 7 home runs that game.
Yes, yeah, and the Mets set a franchise record. I don't think it was that night, but a few nights later they hit 8 in a game at Citizens Bank Ballpark. It wasn't that game though.
So another David Wright story in Philadelphia. The night before we started to play, we came back from a trip to Colorado. 4 o'clock in the morning, I come trudging up the steps, and David Wright is in full uniform, handing out hot Entenmann cookies to the team. His thing was he was away from the team for a couple of months. He thought people would forget him. So he went to the Entenmann store and handed out cookies. I got to admit, I had about 3 or 4 of them, and I didn't sleep good that night.
And he was in full uniform when he
full
did that,
uniform,
right?
In full uniform.
How much of a difference did his return, not just on the field, because he was limited physically, of course, but in the clubhouse, in the dugout, to the younger guys, because that was around the time that the team just took off, left the Nationals in the dust, ran away with the National League East. He had the famous fist pump as he slid across the plate on Labor Day in D.C. How important was his return from an emotional perspective?
It was important. He was in such pain. He knew in the beginning of 15 that his days of a regular player were gone. I went to a couple of rehab games in Florida with him. To play at 7 o'clock for the St. Lucie Mets, he had to get ready at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And so when the people came back, they knew how much pain he was in, and they wanted to win it for him, to get to the postseason for him. And I was so happy for him in Game 3 against Kansas City with the home run in the World Series. But his leadership, David was a quiet leader. He led by example. I'll give you a PR example. Jacob deGrom, I'm still friends with. I'm not going to root for him Friday night when he pitches, but I hope we beat him 2-1. Is that fair?
Sounds like every other Jacob deGrom start.
Yeah, but so Jacob deGrom didn't like to speak to the media. So in the latter part of 15 and 16, we used to have a huddle in the locker room. It used to be me, Jacob deGrom, Steven Matz, and David. And David would impart his pearls of wisdom. Be good to the media, be good to the Jay. He looks old, but he's got a job to do. And because of David telling deGrom that I was okay, he would speak to the media. Jacob deGrom was a kid from a small town in Florida. He liked to fish and do stuff, but he exerted such an influence on the team, and everybody knew it was a struggle for him to come back. And we came back and played, like win one for the Gipper. It was that year was win one for David.
How about 2018? David, when he came back, he was rehabbing. He was unclear what the situation was going to be. And then they had the press conference when the announcement was made. He was going to retire. He was going to or not technically retire, but he was going to stop playing baseball. And he was going to come back that last home Saturday against the Marlins. I'm sure you were a part of those conversations. You were still in your PR role at that time.
He wanted to play for his daughter. He had a young daughter at that age. He wanted to get back on the field for his daughter, and that was his main. I don't know if you remember the scene where his daughter Olivia or man threw the ball out to him. So the best part of that whole thing was, you guys are better at facts than I am now. He's a pop fly foul ball to Pete O'Brien, the Marlins first baseman. And I said, Pete, drop the stupid thing, would you? He catches the ball. That was David's last at bat. Everybody, I was disappointed. So Pete O'Brien sends the ball to David in the locker room after the game, and David signs it. He should have dropped the son of a bitch. Regards, David Wright.
Jay, do you remember who had the game-winning hit for the Mets that night?
Jackson?
Austin Jackson. 1-0 final score.
13
innings.
We were sitting there waiting for David's speech, but I mean, what a way for him to come back. He was, you guys know Gary Carter. David Wright was Gary Carter. Always did the right thing, signed the autographs, good in the community, a team player at heart. And David never did any. He always did things the right way. Anytime a policeman was hurt, a fireman was hurt, what can I do? What to call? Make it good. He started a foundation when he was 24 years old. So I mean, now I'm his boss because he's an alumni. I'm the alumni director. Now when I call him, he's got to answer the phone. So he does some appearances for us, and I know you guys were there. He did the place in Battle of Badges a little while ago. He comes back all the time. But in my religion, he's a real mensch.
I'd love to hear that. Now, did David ever pull a good prank on you? Because we know he's a prankster.
He did.
All right, give us the best prank David pulled on you.
Okay, so I don't have best eyesight in the world. I watch the games with binoculars. I used to leave my binoculars in the clubhouse.
Oh, no, I know where this is going.
In the clubhouse. And John Franco started the tradition, so David would get eye black. You guys remember the Little Rascals, the dog Petey? Yeah. He had the things like that. So David would put the eye black on my binoculars. I would go up I would get him go up to the locker room. I'd be watching the game with binoculars. Then everybody would start laughing at me in the press box. What's the matter? What's the matter? I had rings like this. But he would do it. But he would, if you try to play a prank on David, he would get mad. But he was a quiet prankster. The sad part for me, he must have done that binoculars thing about 10 times in the last couple of years.
Never caught him, huh?
He never caught him once, But,
rascal.
Jay, I don't want to keep bringing up tough memories for you, but you also, I heard you tell a story a few weeks ago about a prank that was pulled on you at spring training when you were tied up earlier in the early 90s.
This was in St. Lucie, Florida. So Brett Sahaber and John Franco, John Franco used to torment me with different pranks.
All the captains would get on you.
Well, Gary Carter never did.
Okay, that's good.
So they tied me up, put me on a stretcher on home in Pitcher's Mound in St. Lucie, put bird seed on my chest, and they gave me a scissors. So the ducks came down and ate the bird seed off my chest. And the only way I could get out, I surprised everybody. I flipped the scissors from one hand to the other and cut the scissors, cut them off. But Franco told me one thing. I was in the locker room 38 years, that if the players don't like you, they won't screw with you. So I didn't want to be a suit. I wanted to be one of the guys. I was a lot older than these guys, and I always took the jokes in good nature.
So on a more positive note,
yes, let's get positive.
You got to work with Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo is one of the last guys on the team that you worked with before you transitioned to Alumni.
Right.
Brandon Nimmo, it seems like, has taken the David Wright way.
Exactly.
More than anybody else. Can you talk about seeing Brandon Nimmo come up under David Wright?
I'm really proud of Brandon Nimmo. We used to have the press seminars, and the message was simple: win or lose, be in front of your locker. Understand the media is not your friends, but be friendly. So every time we would lose a game or a bad thing happened, the guy most likely who talked to the media was Brandon Nimmo. And David Wright was a guy who had a good influence on him. Another guy who David was Michael Conforto was very good like that in the beginning. But Brandon, Brandon's assumed a team leader, to be a spokesman. It's easy to be a spokesman when times are bad, but Brandon, anytime we were losing I think we had a losing streak a couple of weeks ago. I saw Brandon do an interview, and you know what it is? The media will respect you more if you talk when you're not doing well. My favorite story in '86, we lost Game 1 to the Red Sox in the playoffs. Tim Tuffle made an error at second base. A winning run scored. He stood in front of the locker room, from his locker for a good 2 hours repeating that. But that's the message, especially in New York. So many media, so many papers. Just be honest with the guys, and nobody will. As long as you're honest and don't hide, you'll be treated well.
You mentioned '86, and of course, our Mets family just lost the legendary Davey Johnson, who will honor this upcoming homestand. We're all looking forward to that. What are some of your fond memories about Davey Johnson?
Well, the first time I met Davey was in 1981 in the strike year. He was managing the Jackson Mets. I went down to Jackson, Mississippi. It was like a steakhouse. I was going to take the whole staff out to dinner. I left my wallet back at the hotel. Davey, we have a problem. But the one thing about Davey Johnson, he was analytics before analytics. He was never afraid to take a chance. A couple of examples. In '85, we won 98 games. We got to spring training next year. He tells the media, guys, the Mets are not going to win. They're going to dominate the whole league. We won 108 games that year. We had one in '86. We got the big fight with Cincinnati. Half the team was kicked out. Davey wasn't adverse to playing Roger McDowell and Jesse Orozco, two relievers in the outfield. He was bold. He was brash. We got to say about one thing. That team had so many different personalities, and Davey was a player's manager. He did have rules, but he let the guys play, and he knew when to enforce the rules. David's going to be, the funeral for David's going to be Sunday in Sarasota. Darryl Strawberry's going to be speaking at the dinner, and the message Darryl's going to say that Davey gave me the confidence that I could do well in the big spots. Davey was a millionaire. He was a pilot, a graduate of Texas A&M. He didn't really have to manage. He was a real estate mogul, but he just, and from 84 to 90, I think we in 84 we won 90 games, 85, 98, 86, 108, 87, 88, 88, 100. Probably the best stretch, which you agree, guys, in Mets history.
100%. And I was actually going to ask you about that. I asked Mookie Wilson this a couple days ago. With the current format, the 84 Mets probably make the playoffs.
We would have been in the
Mets
playoffs every year. If there was a wild card
playoffs.
that year, we've been in the playoffs every year. But, the problem is, I want to see something about Doc and Darryl. Why the team gets criticized. We should have won more. We should have won more. Everybody knows that, Doc and Darryl had problems off the field. And they should have been in the Hall of Fame, probably should have been. But, those guys have tried to turn their life around. Darryl's become a minister. He travels the country, speaks about the evils of drugs. Dwight speaks to schools and hospitals. So maybe there's some things more important than the Hall of Fame. And I think the way those guys have turned their life around, I think is remarkable.
And on that note, obviously you started working for the Mets back in 1980.
Yes.
There's been an ownership change.
Right.
And Steve Cohen promised when he took over the team that he was going to pay homage to the rich history of the Mets. And part of that was, number one, retiring Jerry Koosman's number, which happened in 2021. And then in 2024, both Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry had their numbers retired. So I'm wondering, from your chair, how great is it that this new ownership group has done the justice that's been deserved for those guys and all the people that paved the way for this Mets franchise to what it is today to have their numbers retired?
Steve and Alex are fans. I mean, every time we bring alumni around, they come and say hello and chat. He's probably the biggest fan is Alex's dad. Grandpa was just 94 years old. And he appreciates our history. One of the things which they did, we retired Willie Mays' number a couple of years ago. One of our previous owners had made a pledge that when Willie retired, we would retire his number. The pledge fell through the cracks. Steve heard about it and did it. And I know what the majority you guys think, but Willie was here for a year and a half. We didn't really retire his number for what he did with the Mets. We retired as a tribute to baseball. And Steve and Alex gave our blessing to retire the number. I'm so happy to see his number up at Citi Field.
All right, Jay, I want to play a little game with you. I had you do this before.
Oh, shit.
So what we have here, we have some Fleer 91 baseball cards. So we're going to have Jake.
What year were you born?
I was born in 92, so these are older.
Oh, me?
No, I can do the math on you.
Thanks, John.
So these are older than one of the three people up here right now.
Oh, shit.
Because you were born in.
I was 91.
So, yeah.
I'm a 91 baby.
But we're going to have Jay. We're going to all crack them open, but we're going to hear Jay talk about just any stories of any of the guys in the cards.
Hopefully a guy in a brawl with the Mets that you can really destroy.
Oh,
all right, here we go.
And then if you got a good one, hold it right up to the camera.
Fine, good.
Let me see if I can.
Ooh, I got a good one.
Lenny?
Len Dykstra.
Oh, do you have any stories?
Not Lenny, Len.
Howard Johnson.
Okay.
Howard Johnson, we got him from Detroit in '84 for the '84 season. He had the reputation of being soft. He didn't play a lot on the Tigers championship in that year, but he wound up having 3 30-30 years. Mm-hmm. A great third baseman. A lot of people don't realize he was on deck when Mookie was at bat. That's what I'm saying. In the '86 World Series, and Davey Johnson. In '85, in '86, we traded Ray Knight away after '86. He told Howard Johnson, "You're going to be the third baseman. I don't care if you go 0 for 20. It's your job." And he wound up, 330 guys, led the league in RBIs with 117, home runs with 39, hey, one other thing to give you guys a little scoop. Next year is the 40th anniversary of the '86 team. We will have a reunion next year at some point near the year, and Howard, we want the guys coming back.
And Howard Johnson is a guy who doesn't get a lot of credit for this, but is incredibly important to David Wright's career, right?
Yeah, he was his tutor, he was his coach in the minor leagues. The one thing was Howard Johnson was mad at me when he was having all these good years. I promised him I would get him a commercial with Howard Johnson, the restaurant. It never happened. I tried, and it was a restaurant right by my house in Clifton. But he's a guy, thanks to Davey's confidence in him, he made himself and had a great career.
It's a perfect partnership opportunity. If we get another Howard Johnson, I'm sure the hotel motel chain will be on board. Now, I pulled one. I have an 86 Met here.
Oh, boy.
But this is not him as an 86 Met. Terry Leach. What are some memories of Terry Leach?
Terry Leach in '87, when he had all the injuries, when Doc went to rehab and Bobby Ojeda got hurt and Darley got hurt, he went 11-1 as a starter, I think, John. 11-1.
Back of the card somewhere, I'm sure.
And he throws like Rogers does now. He's got the sign-on delivery, and just really. I can't read. What was it? It's 11-1.
1987, 11-1.
Right.
Let's see. The ERA 3.22.
Yeah.
It's one heck of a season.
Yeah.
86 Met, but not only 6 2/3 innings pitched. But yeah, 11-1 and 131.
I mean, he really pitched in '87. All the other guys got hurt.
And then he threw 92 innings for the Mets in 1988.
He's got that Rogers like touches the
different look.
Yeah, and he pitches.
All right, I'm glad I pulled. Do you have any 86 Mets in your pile?
No, I don't have
Mike
any.
Scioscia.
Yeah.
You have a story about
I
Mike
hate
Scioscia.
Mike Scioscia.
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd say that.
I hate Mike Scioscia.
Why do you hate Mike Scioscia?
Well, in game 3 of the '86 playoffs with Dodgers.
88, right?
88 play. We had beaten the Dodgers 10 of 11 games. We win 4-2 in the ninth inning. Dwight is pitching, rolling along. He walked Davis. I forget who he walked. Whatever. Come on, John. Help me with the fact there. And then Mike Scioscia hits a home run to tie the game, and then we go into extra innings and we lose at 12 innings, and then we lost in Game 7 when Oral Hershiser didn't make any, give up any hits or runs in that game. He shut us out against Ron Darling in Game 7.
Which team was better, the 86 or 88 team? I've heard people say 88. Do you agree? Or?
I think the 86 team was better. We had more fight. Mike Tyson loved the 86 team because we got to so many fights. He would come and visit us at the park. There was something about that 86 team that we were hated by all the teams in the league, and it was just a feistiness that we loved and drew us made us more together, than anything.
The famous picture, Tyson, Darryl, and Doc.
Tyson, I orchestrated that. Darryl and Doc had their gloves on, and Mike was the referee. So that was a picture when we were around the world. This was before Mike became a champion.
What was it like having Mike Tyson at Shea Stadium?
I stayed away from him, but no, but he loved it. He came. He was attracted to us because of all the fights we got.
We have Ken Oberkfell, who was on the Mets staff when you were, right? He was a base coach.
He coached. He was on the '87 Cardinals. I think in '87 he hit a home run against Roger McDowell. It knocked us out of the playoffs in '87. Another guy who was a coach on a minor league system.
Didn't he come up and coach either first or third in 08 when there was the coaching changes that took place? Who else do you have there?
Marty Barrett. 86 second baseman on the Red Sox team. He was supposed to be the MVP of the World Series the Red Sox won. In the top of the bottom of the 10th inning, our scoreboard said, "Congratulations to the Red Sox on the '86 World Champions." Didn't happen.
Did you? Go on.
No, the guy who did it got fired.
I was going to ask. I was going to ask.
The guy who put it up there got fired.
How did it happen?
I don't know, John. You kill anybody in the scoreboard recently?
Jay.
That's an inside joke.
It wasn't me.
But I got to tell a story. In one of our old-timers game, we killed off 2 of the 72 Mets we said they were deceased. And we got a lot of nasty calls.
Yeah, it was on the front page of the Daily News the Monday after.
Yeah.
And it was John's fault.
No, it was not my fault. It was the 69 reunion.
And it was 69 reunion.
Yeah.
We kind of assassinated 2
guys. Who were they? Jesse Hodges?
Yeah, and I forgot who they were. I got a lot of nasty phone calls.
Here's the story. Or here's the lesson. Don't trust Wikipedia for your obituary. It was not me. I'm not going to say who it was.
It sounds like it was you.
It was not me. I was part-time at the time. They didn't ask me to do the work. But do not go on Wikipedia if you want to verify who is with us and who is no longer with us when you are doing an In Memoriam video for a ceremony. That is my word of advice to the audience here. Take it for what you will.
One of the families was watching the game. I got a call in the press box right after that. You killed my father. He's still alive. Well,
Jay, how's it been at transitioning to the alumni role? Have you gotten to know? Because I know, like, obviously you weren't here before 1980, but it seems like you've gotten really close with the guys from before your time.
I actually, Vito, when I was offered the role, I hated it. I liked the clubhouse. I liked to travel. I liked the restaurants. And I rejected the role in the beginning. But then I began to realize I've worked with most of these guys. When I started in 80, that's the 18th year of the Mets, right? And I work with most of these guys, and really the core typifies when I think I'm doing something decent. Hobie Landreth was the first draft choice of the Mets in '62. So I would making calls when I first started, and he said I was the first person to call from the organization in 50 years. So it made me feel good. Just recently, Jim Marshall, the oldest living Met, died, 94 years old, and we sent the jersey to him. I got a call from his family, how happy he was he got the jersey. So, you know what it is? Little stuff like that does your heart good. What I'm just trying to do is to bring back, it doesn't have to be the superstar guys, the average, the Joe McEwen kind of guys, the Vance Wilson kind of guys, the guys who maybe not the folks, but play the part and make them feel that they belong. And that's the one thing if I accomplish in my job here, that's what I'm trying to do is bring people back in the Mets family.
And if you guys want to check out Jay's podcast, it's Amazing
Conversations. Well, thanks to Vito. Vito runs it for me.
Well, Jay does a great job. Jay books every guest. I don't have a role there. Jay has. Jay has this great podcast, Amazing Conversations. Every week, he's talking to a new person in Mets history. Sometimes it's talking about their career. Sometimes it's talking about the current team. We're putting together an episode to remember Davey Johnson that'll come out in the next few weeks. We're going to talk to some guys about the young pitchers, so some really exciting things coming up on that show. Well, I want to thank Jay for coming out today. Guys, we're going to still do some giveaways soon, so stay seated. But thanks to Jay Horwitz. Amazing Conversations.
Vito, can I have the cards?
Yeah.